You're listening to Discussions with Justin.
You know what the funny thing is? It's every time I see the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, the big freeze.
And I'm not the one that's got to do most of the talking. I should be fine. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So, how you doing? I can't complain too much. Just making it through January, enjoying our final week of it.
There you go.
Another
Yep,
month,
happy to be here.
another month closer to summer.
Yes.
So, why don't you tell our listeners where you're from? And then we'll go, because we're here to talk about ADHD. You're an occupational therapist, and we'll start your journey from the beginning and we'll go right from there.
Sounds good. Great. Well, my name is JoAnna Poyssick. I am an occupational therapist. My company is Sensational Students Occupational Therapy, and I help children struggling in school to be happy and be confident and be successful. I am born and raised in New Jersey in the U.S. I lived down in Grand Cayman in the Caribbean for a few years, and now I am living in sunny Florida.
Nice. I'm jealous.
Yeah, nice and sunny, although it's a chilly day here today. We do have such beautiful weather here, so I cannot ever complain.
Well, yesterday where I'm at, it was like 10 degrees now. Tonight it's going to drop down to -18, so.
Oh dear. And we're freezing here in Florida at like 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's freezing.
Yes, sir.
So let's your journey to occupational therapy from start to finish. What made you want to get into that?
Yeah, well, I initially learned about occupational therapy just through doing volunteer hours as a young, like middle schooler, 6th, 7th grade growing up. Started going with a good friend who was doing volunteer hours to a sport called Buddy Ball. I'm just playing sports with kids with disabilities. We were playing basketball with the kids, and I fell in love with it. After our volunteer hours were up, I asked my mom to keep driving me back each weekend to keep playing, and she did. Then later, my grandfather, near and dear to me, had suffered from a stroke. So he had to do occupational therapy for rehab. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And then ever since then, those 6th, 7th grade years, I volunteered with the Buddy Ball. And then I learned about occupational therapy. I was in about the 8th grade. I just started volunteering at places that offered occupational therapy with adults, with children on horseback. They call it hippotherapy. Anywhere I could to just explore it. And I knew this was going to be my career path. It just filled my cup. It made me feel good. I love helping others and helping others to feel happy. And that's where it all started. Yeah.
So it was like you were meant to do this. Like, you were meant to help people.
Yes, definitely my calling. I get real passionate about it. I could go off on a tangent on how important it is to just live in happiness too. And at times I'm human too, so I need to live in my own advice as well. But it's really important for the kids out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I struggle with ADHD. I have it. And I'm just starting to learn more about it. I'm 37 now. So, looking back as I'm reading up on it, it's like, I used to do that. I still do that. It's like, oh my God, I do
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really important too, to just give yourself that grace with it too, because kids are growing up with this, right? If they get a diagnosis and you don't know what's going on as a kid. You don't know why you're not handing in your assignments, or why you're getting mad, being forced to transition away from a preferred activity, like to go do a cares.
Yeah.
Like it's or why you're always late, why you can never remember your baseball glove on baseball practice day, where you put your shoes or your clothes. That's not your fault. You don't know. Your brain is just working differently. So the more awareness you have and the more education we can get out there, the better it'll be for the parents and for the kids. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, no, exactly. Like I said, I'm 37 now and I'm just reading up on it. I'm trying to learn it because there's days I don't even want to be in my own skin. My mind is just constantly going. It's hard to complete tasks. Like it's crazy. Now looking back as I'm older and I'm looking back, it's like, well, how come I couldn't focus? You know what I mean? In school.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a child to focus in school because their mind is constantly going and they're not. I find you have to be interested in something with ADHD for it to get your attention so you can focus a bit.
Yes.
But like if you're in class and like the teachers are like, you gotta settle down, but I can't help it, right?
You're absolutely right. And that happens a lot to kids, or they're just told focus, focus. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Maybe even just
Yeah.
sometimes,
What does it mean?
yeah, like, does it mean I should look at the board? Because maybe my mind did drift. Okay, great. Everyone's mind drifts, even that teachers, you know? So
Oh,
maybe more
absolutely.
of an active cue. Look at the board, or it's all right. I see you looking out the window. Come on back into class. Read the directions on the top of your paper. Let's get caught up. Do problem number 1, like more of a specific instruction instead of do your work, focus, pay
Pay
attention.
attention, do your work.
Yeah, listen, even the
Okay.
cue, listen to my voice, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of other sounds happening. You got maintenance men outside, you got doors opening, closing, you got people tapping their pens or their desk or their foot that you might be hyper aware of.
Yep. Oh,
Um,
the slightest little thing
yeah,
triggers, and you're like, look, and you know what I mean? Like, so you have 15 years doing this. Tell us some of the changes you've seen over the years in people with like autism, dyslexia, ADHD.
yeah, the best is just when they really figure out what works for them. When they finally start, and I'll see it in just their interactions with me when I'm doing sessions. They're either, I see clients in person locally and virtually, and you could just tell they're feeling better, means they're having happier days, they're more regulated, they're feeling more success by like their initial hello. I could see it in their hello. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, or it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
here we are back to square one. My teacher yelled at me for daydreaming. Mom says I have to try harder. I'm over it. It's like the same cycle each week, and really making their plans that work, even as simple, some of the most simple things are like voice to text, listening to the audiobook, or having those accommodations during testing, someone to just read you the directions, or make sure that you just listen to you read them and make sure you read them right. Because a lot of times if you have a dyslexia or ADHD, sometimes you'll miss those key words.
I'm guilty for it. Like, I know what you're saying
Yeah.
because I was bad, not bad, but like I would always miss a step and it's got the answer on.
Yeah.
You need to study harder. You need to try harder.
Yeah.
But I knew what they were asking me. I just couldn't comprehend
Yeah.
how to put it down, right?
Absolutely. And just like you
Mm.
said there, like you're bad, like you're taught that that's bad. It's not bad, it's different. And you just need a different way. You need to be spoken to differently. You need directions in a different manner. Even just being given the list of things written down instead of you being told them. I worked with a 17-year-old and he was having trouble getting all the tasks done at work and remembering to do that. And I said, ask your boss if he can write them down for you in the order he wants them done.
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
And
boom,
there's no shame in that neither.
everything
Like,
was fine.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And to really take ownership, and ADHD, like, is it's like devil's advocate, bittersweet, right? Because you have a lot of these symptoms that are hard, right? You've experienced it. It's hard to deal with that. Like having your mind focused, and you feel emotion stronger, and that one little sound can trigger you off on a tangent. It's hard. It's not easy. But for every, maybe you could say, like, negative or not preferred, maybe side effect or symptom of it, you have that other end opposite, right? You can hyper focus in and like bang out an activity or bang out a project. You know how to hyper focus. So it's finding where you are on that spectrum of your strengths and your areas that you struggle in, and then finding like your perfect, okay, if I do this and that and this and this, there we go. That's it.
Mhm.
And you figure out your plan, and then you know how to make it work.
Well, back to saying about your friend, how he got his boss to write everything down for him. I'm like that too. What do you want done? Because I'll go start everything at once and just go at it
Mhm.
all day. But like, let's
Yeah.
go in order here, right?
Yeah. And to know too, like to let them know, listen, I'm really good at following the list. But then if I'm mid, stocking a shelf, and then you come by and say, hey, can you do this too? Chances are something's going to get missed. I can certainly add it to my list, but even if you could help, if you remember to tell me, hey, can you add this to your list? And I could pull up my list and add it right to the bottom. And then we're good. I'm still in my task here, and I know to do that extra one. So it's all about finding your perfect balance and the plan. Find your flow, find what works for you.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Because like, if I'm doing something, I'll I'm not going to stop until I get it, because I don't know if it's the hyper part of it. It's just, I got to get it done. I got to get it done. But when someone comes and says midway through what I'm doing, can you do this? I'm gone. I'm lost.
Yes.
I'm focusing on 10 different things again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some misconceptions of ADHD that you find? Like,
Yeah. I mean, the biggest one is that the kids are bad and that it's like a
Yeah.
death sentence. Oh no, ADHD. And then just sometimes like poo-pooing it away. Oh, they're not going to do good in school. Oh, it's because they have ADHD. Yeah, they can't pay attention. No. Start teaching them as soon as you find out or notice symptoms of anything. You don't need a diagnosis, right? You work on what you're not good at or what you want to improve. Start teaching
And
them
I think
sooner.
I think there's enough education out there now
Yeah.
and studies showing that if your child does have it, you can, you know what I mean? You're reading it on the internet. You just got to sit back and watch.
Yes.
Watch how they're reacting in situations, watch their focusing,
Yeah.
and try to work on it until you get them diagnosed.
Yeah, and I would certainly say that like a lot of the literature out there, they all kind of have similar models of what to do. So you don't need to go read every book. Pick a couple
No.
and roll with it. And to educate
I just
yourself
read one
as
the
a
other
parent.
day, and okay, I know what I need to work on because this book, I identified everything that I do, right?
Yeah, and then like I said, educate yourself as a parent, as maybe you're a partner in a relationship and your partner or a good friend or a colleague identifies with symptoms related to that. Educate yourself, right? Because like you said, it could be as simple as that, doing a test as an adult. You told me to write an article, great, on ADHD, so I'm going to do that. But midway through, you came in and said, hey, can you just restock the kitchen? We have guests coming in for a meeting. Well, now what am I supposed to do? And to really know how then do you want me to finish this? And can I do that when I'm done? Or do you need that done now?
Mhm.
No, I can do either, but I need to know because I need to then rewire my brain for that.
Yeah. And it's all, like you said, it's all in the approach to and how you word things and talk to somebody, right? Especially a child, like, focus.
Yeah.
Well, you're telling a 7-year-old to focus with ADHD, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think too much of that goes on. Like, there is a lot of information out there, but I find, like, with some of the schools, it's just, oh, he's got ADHD, just let him do whatever. And no, like, try to help them. You know what I mean? If you get them focused for 10 minutes, at least that's 10 minutes that you got them for.
Yeah, definitely. And you're totally right too about motivating. It's hard going through school too, because some of the assignments and the literature you have to read, math, social studies, right? Sometimes you really just don't connect to it. And then those are going to be your biggest challenge classes too, because if you're not connecting to it, it's going to be even harder. Or if it's not interesting to you, like you mentioned before. And it's important to start learning those accommodations for yourself as soon as possible, because sometimes they'll get older clients, older high school or younger in college, and you're trying to teach them, well, let's use the audiobook for this because you like to listen to things when you walk, right? Listen to the audiobook. But I was taught to study with pen and paper. So you kind of have to even sometimes teach yourself the strategy to use. And then once you got it and it's working great. But the longer you take to start teaching these strategies, again, you need to shift that brain focus. You have neuroplasticity, so your brain can change. That's the great part. But why not do it sooner than later? Because then you have kids in mental health. They're sad, they're depressed, they're anxious, they might get isolated, they're told they're bad. They're told to try harder when I thought I did. In their mind, they
Right?
try.
Now they have depression
Yeah.
and anxiety on top of ADHD.
Yeah.
And it's overlapping, and it doesn't make for a good
Yeah.
combination, right? And
No.
I think everyone just needs to take a step back and just take a breather. It's not a big deal. Like, ADHD is not a big deal.
Yeah.
But as long as the parents or even try to address the situation to help their child or their friend or their spouse, whatever, to get, okay, what can we do to get over this? Like having a conversation,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bringing that awareness and talking about it, not be ashamed of it. Even as a parent, don't be ashamed if your child has trouble either. It's not your fault. It's nothing you did wrong. It's nothing you're
No.
doing wrong. You just have to
Like for years, I was embarrassed by it. Like, I always kept it as a secret, but yeah, no, this is who I am. You can't accept me, whatever. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Yeah.
There's 366, I think it was 366 million male adults walking around undiagnosed with ADHD and don't even know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
I just think it's just them, and that's how they were raised or whatever, and it's scary. So like they carried that from child right through,
To
right?
adulthood, yeah. And those childhood interactions, possibly even like trauma type interactions you've had with people you're supposed to look up to and are supposed to be safe people in your life. And they're telling you you're not trying, but you thought you did. And then you're in detention maybe. And what did that do? Nothing. It just brought down your confidence,
Self-esteem, yep.
brought down your self-esteem, your happiness. And that's really not what life's about. I always say too, I ask parents or anyone like, what's your goal? Well, my goal is to be happy. Great. So let's do that.
No, absolutely. And it's like I said, we're in a society today where don't be ashamed of having ADHD. How many people have lost their jobs because they were embarrassed to tell their boss, hey, listen, can we do this? Like you said, can you write things down in steps for me?
Yeah.
Or they're unorganized because they don't know where they put anything. It starts from the most important part of it starts at your childhood.
Yeah.
And trying to make it a routine every day, having mom and dad to help you, like organize this, organize that. Just,
Yeah.
you can even make a game out of it. You don't have to make it like a learning. You can make a game
Yeah.
out of it for kids, right?
Yeah. And even just taking on like that good mindset, that growth mindset, or like you said, take the challenges instead of just like, well, you know what? I'm not even going to attempt, because if I don't attempt a challenge, I can't fail at it. Just let it be there. I'll just take the hit. I'll just be told I don't work hard enough or I'm lazy. But I know I won't fail. And that's a win for me, but really switching that, like take this as a challenge, try it, go into class today and try math, see if you can work for like 5 minutes at a time. Just look at the teacher, set a little timer on your desk and get teachers on board. Teachers usually are on board to try things. They have a lot going on in their classrooms, but as a parent, you can help advocate for your child. And I found that the teachers in their individual classrooms are usually okay to try these things to help you. They're there. They chose that profession because they want you to learn.
Like when I was young, the doctors told my mother I wasn't ever going to be able to read. I wasn't going to ever be able to write. I can't, whatever. And my mother sat with me from before I even started primary, I'm sure, right up to like grade 8, 9 when I could. And she helped me do that. And and I thank her so much for it, because today it made me who I am to be able to do that. Because if I didn't have that, where would I be?
Yeah.
Probably just push through the system. Oh, he's got ADHD, he's got dyslexic, just bumping through the next grade. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard. And a lot of times they go together, right? Someone with dyslexia might have ADHD or might look like it, right? Because they're not processing what's in front of them. Maybe they're not understanding the language piece, or they're having trouble with the writing portion or the reading portion. That's all that school is, reading and writing. So not having those accommodations in place and a good support system is huge. Even some autism, right? When you're higher up there on the spectrum, higher functioning, you're not processing certain social cues that are going on. You may not connect to lessons or interactions, read the facial cues. So you need extra support, but you're also very smart enough to know it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you, and it's okay to tell others what you do need. It's usually no big
absolutely.
deal. And everyone's like,
No,
yeah, sure, that's all I need. Great. Yeah, I could color code that instead of alphabetize it for you. No worries.
yeah.
Like there's plenty of accommodations out there, and there's so much technology now. Um,
But yeah, and we're talking like we'll go back to the behavior part of it too. ADHD is also a word I find for it gets thrown around too much. Like, there is some kids out there who don't have ADHD, they just have a behavior. You know what I mean? Like no structure life at home can do it. And well, he's got ADHD or she got ADHD, just leave her alone. But it's not though. It's the upbringing that's bringing this out. You know what? I just find it's a word too that gets thrown around too much.
yeah, that's a great point too, because I do find too, like a lot of things can lead to behaviors that might look like you have ADHD. And you very well may be experiencing like those symptoms, but it's coming from somewhere different. It may not be coming from lack of ability to learn. You could be going through, your parents could be going through a divorce. You might not have a stable home. Um, parents just struggling with their own issues as strong as, addiction or abuse. And like you said, like your home could just be a little bit out of whack. So yeah, how are you going to pay attention? You're processing some crazy maybe interaction between mom and dad that happened last night.
That you
Or
think is normal
made
now.
a parent cry, and now you want me to do this math assignment, like solve for X? Who cares?
Mhm.
Like,
Right?
go ahead, call me lazy. I've heard worse words at home,
Yeah, no, yeah,
like,
you're absolutely right.
yeah,
You know, it, like I said, it's to me, I just find it's a word that sometimes gets thrown around. Just and, there is people that just don't care. They just want to hide it, because their child's getting to the point that they're old enough. Well, they're embarrassed, and it's he's got ADHD.
yeah,
No, it's what's going on at the home, right?
yeah. A lot can add to that.
Mhm.
To symptoms or kids that are struggling in school. There's a whole big picture out there, and it's important to assess all of that when you see a child struggling in school. Half the kids I do work with don't have any diagnosis. They're just struggling. Sometimes it's things at home that's affecting their attention versus the
Mhm.
actual content of the assignment.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, I had a TA going from primary right to grade 12. I had a teacher. I don't know what you guys would
Yeah,
call
the
them down the
assistants.
state.
Yeah.
Teacher assistant. It helped me out so much. Like you said, looking out the window, TA would come like, listen, come on. Like, one guy, he was great. Even to this day, we are still good friends. After I graduated high school in 2006, we stayed good friends. He was my TA.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to his house and, we'll stack wood or whatever. But like, he stuck with me from when I got to high school, from grade 10 right through. And even now, if I'm doing a test or something, with my jobs, whatever, I'll call him. You know what I mean? Are you busy this weekend? No, what's up? Well, I got this. I got to do this project or assignment for a course I'm taking. Well, bring it out. We'll have a look at it.
Yeah.
It just keep me focused, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on like medication? Or is
There
that a kind of a great area you don't want to?
No, right? So medication is there to help with some of the symptoms that you may experience, right? You definitely need to find the right medication and the right dose. There's certainly some negative side effects to it, and you really need to be careful with this, especially when you're, using it with younger children, even older too, depending on what medication they're giving you and that you're using it for the right reasons and it's helping with whatever issue you're having. Sometimes, I have kids that are on medication, but we're still not learning in math, right? Like our math grades aren't changing. I'll get like, yeah, they're a little bit more well behaved. Okay, so they're not so maybe antsy. If they're a little bit more of that like sensory type seeking, that they need more physical input to move around, that's usually the only thing I feel it helps with. Occasionally, you'll get some nice focus and you'll see the increase though in skill work because, my mind's not everywhere. I can focus on what I'm learning in math and get it done. But I say, if you're taking it and you're not seeing gains in any area, then I don't think it's working for you. If you're
No,
taking it and you're
exactly.
able to see some gains, then keep going with it and always stay with your doctors and keep those appointments and check-ins to make sure it's all managed the right way.
Hmm. And you know what? Like, I was reading that book that I was telling you about. I picked up the other day, and it was a part where their son was doing so much in school that he was prescribed Adderall, I think it was,
Yeah.
and it didn't really do much for him, but he became addicted to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, focus wise or nothing, it kind of, but the way they're explained, but he became more of having to have this medication, and he obviously things happened, and he's no longer here, right? But it's scary too, that part of it, because and sometimes you can be over medicated with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you really need to kind of be careful. And like I said, it's a piece of the puzzle, but there's a lot of other pieces you can put in place first. If you're kind of in that thing, like, should I go medication or should I not? If you're in that predicament, there's a lot of things that can be put in place first. Some of those things that you do want to put in place maybe are a little more challenging
Mhm.
and trickier to be consistent with as a parent for your child or just as a human for yourself, with just staying in your routine, staying in your schedule. knowing how to put the phone down or the distracting whatever it is away while you work on a task for 10, 20 minutes at a time. Knowing, all right, I'm really good at focusing for like 10 minutes. All right, so then that's how you're chunking your day in 10 minutes. Really adding in some sort of physical activity to your lifestyle is huge. It's really beneficial. It doesn't have to be exercise at the gym. Oh, I don't want to exercise. Great, don't. Go for a walk. Go do a
Go
house
for a walk.
chore. Go cut the grass.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you're saying, go chop some wood. Go do a physical activity and work that into your life. And if that really does suit you, then maybe some professions will lead you in that direction more. Go volunteer at anywhere, food shelter, moving food around. Maybe you can wash the trucks at the local fire station or help move their big heavy equipment around. Work it into your day because that's going to be huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you've been obviously doing this for 15 years. What field, have you seen kids grow up with ADHD and actually go out and work, like sports, military?
It's really been different. It really just tends to go to their liking, honestly, what they like the most. I've had some become, just regular type of a desk job in law, but it worked for them. They were interested in those topics, So there really is no profession off limits. Some, yes, turn more firefighter or really like the military type aspect, more physical jobs, fitness trainers, physical therapists, you're on your feet, nursing. Sometimes you do better too with a lot of stuff coming in, like in a hectic environment. It's really just all about finding, like I said, what you like. And I think it's great too, like I said, the younger the better. Start encouraging those activities because it'll only help lead you and help guide you more as an adult. So you're not like, well, what do I want to do? Because I don't really know what I want to do. Because I wasn't good at school, so I don't want to go to college, but I don't want to do this. And I don't know. I never thought about it. The more you trial when you're younger, because your mind is just more open at that point.
So for me, I found I was 15. I joined the gym and I just became so obsessed with it,
Yeah.
And then I started competing in strongman competitions, competitive powerlifting, and I actually made a career out of it and then became a personal trainer, but an injury anyway. But I know what you're saying, right? To me, I felt great. And I had all this energy where at the end of the day, when I'm ready to go home, I'm ready to have a good 8 hour sleep or a 7 hour sleep.
Yeah, you do. You find your activities and even with certain sports, find the sports that call to you. Sometimes I have parents that they come home from baseball and they kind of throw a tantrum and they're too old to be doing that. I said, well, do they really like baseball? Are they good at it? Not saying you have to be good to like something, but when you're younger, if you're not good, you see what's going on around you. So it might not be the best for your confidence that that's your sport. And I noticed too, some kids that are in a lot of sports, when I ask them about things that they like, I never hear that sport that the parents are raving about come out of their mouth. So there's
Sometimes it's
they
the
might like it
parents.
because you're telling them to like it because they do see their friends. They are having fun. But is it really filling their emotional cup up? It might not be the way you think it is. And to find
they just want to go to hang out with their friends. And,
Yeah.
I'm playing hockey to hang out with my friends, but really, I don't like hockey. Mom and dad does, but I don't.
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying with it. Yeah.
But it is, as soon as you find those activities, I tend to go towards more of the athletic side. I actually dabbled in bodybuilding. I want to try powerlifting one time in this next decade, maybe give it a go. But yeah, you'll find activities that work for you. And it's also important too, if you're a parent dealing with a child and even into teens too, children, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to go left, right. You're not going to go for 5 minutes. So don't expect your child to come home from school and say, well, I let him go in his room for 5 minutes. Yeah, that's not, how long do you go to the gym? They don't have yoga for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
You have little things to fill your cup up throughout the day in those 5-minute increments. But really think, when you go out to the gym or out to work out or do one of those activities you like, you're usually there for at least 45 to 90 minutes, maybe. That's how long it takes.
Sometimes longer,
And
I just didn't want to leave because I had so much energy for me.
Good.
It was good. Yeah. It was releasing everything for me.
Yeah.
But we live we live in a society today where everything's screen and tablets.
Oh, yeah.
Someone with ADHD, let them go out in the field and run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why can't they sleep? Why can't? Because their brain can't shut off, and you're giving them a phone or a tablet or whatever to go on YouTube, whatever. Let them outside.
Yeah. Yes, that's huge too. In a lot of the schools, they're already giving, it's like during centers time in the preschool. Some of the preschools I'm in, iPad is a station. No way.
No, no, get rid
Yeah.
of that.
Look how quick we've learned to use them. And I mean, even the elderly are flipping around on an iPhone. Okay. They can learn it. You don't need to expose it that early. And it certainly is a stimulant. It's addictive. I feel, and I'm guilty too. Wait, people can't even sit at a red light. How long is a red light? 30 seconds, maybe? You can't even sit at a red light without touching the phone. Wait,
You're absolutely right.
top of the red light, you pick up your phone. Oh, anything going on? Nothing's going on, but you wanted to
You just have to have it.
wore to work that day on Instagram. Trust me, I'm guilty too. But the fact that we are now so addicted to this, and I hear stories all the time, like the parents went on vacation or they did a detox and didn't do screens. The increase in good behaviors and engagement that come from that, I don't know, it's just try it. Engage. You had a family for a reason. Engage with your family and your peoples.
I don't think people really know how to do that anymore.
Yeah.
You sit a family down at a
They walk
table.
like this, heads down.
Yeah, and they're slamming into you, and you're like turning around. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. I was texting my friend. Yeah, we'll do that in your own home. No, it's like from me growing up and having it to like kids that are having it now. Like I wouldn't want to be a kid now with ADHD with all this technology around and
No,
not being able to get rid of my energy, right?
I wouldn't either, because it really it's like a mask. It's like a false sense of fulfillment. It's not really fulfilling you. That's why you keep going back for it. Maybe it does in that moment, maybe that flickering of that screen, that scroll, woo, all the things going by, but you're not fulfilled by it. It's not really filling a void you think it is. What will fill those voids are engagement, engaging your body in activity, engaging in the relationships around you, and just the world, what there is to learn and interact with. That's to fill those voids and fill up your emotional cup and fill your heart and just encourage that happiness that you want.
Yeah, no, I set an app up on my phone, tells you how many hours you've been on your phone through the week on every Sunday, and it's like sickening. It's like, and I still got all this energy. It's like, God, so I'm trying to decrease my phone time, right?
Yeah.
And actually engage with other people and have a normal conversation like what we're doing here, because everything's phones and
I know,
tablets.
it's so hard too, because now it's like so connected to work and like our livelihood in a sense too. But even
you
when
don't even have to go to a grocery store anymore. Like a worker will bring you your groceries. Like, so where's your getting out and meeting people and just having that interaction?
Yeah, it's very much decrease, and always good to do a good detox on it. So you can kind of see the difference. Like take that weekend detox off. I tell people to just give it a try. Even just in the car, like I said, I feel people at the red lights are checking their phone. Even if you're on public transport, right? Just don't take it out.
Yeah.
Bring
just
a book.
Put
Try
it in your
it for a
pocket.
week.
Throw your dash.
Transport and try, like, don't use it and just see how different you feel, or notice how hard it is, because then that's how addicted you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's people that I know personally that wouldn't be able to go 15 minutes without their phone. Like TikTok, the big thing is TikTok got banned in the States the other day, and it's like, oh my God, like the world's coming to it. You're worried over TikTok. There's so much stuff going on in the world, and you're worried over an app on your phone.
Worried over TikTok.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's a different time. It's a different world. But I mean, on one hand, like you can get all this information now off the internet, but it can also be a bad thing too, right?
Yeah, it is. It can go both ways for sure. Just got to know how to like find your balance with it. And then when you find yourself slipping up, just get back and be consistent again.
Now, what about nutrition and supplements, I guess, for kids with it? Because I know people with ADHD, their diet has to be a certain way with less sugars in it, and that can trigger it, right?
Yeah, it certainly can. There are cases where, like, the red dye is the big one now, even it's in the news, just with dyes, any foods that can possibly be irritants to the body. I definitely recommend, linking up with a nutritionist who works with children that have like their learning struggles or behavioral challenges to find what works best for you. And yeah, eating a cleaner diet is going to improve attention, focus, engagement, just the way you feel in anybody. You don't need to have like any diagnosis to feel better changing bits in your diet. It certainly affects them more. And I've had kids even say like they do notice as well. They've eaten something. I don't know if it totally links up, but I've seen, did you eat that? That's why you're acting this way. There really is a direct correlation. And other times it's also just common knowledge. You eat better, you feel better.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
true. For me, I have ADHD, as you probably tell. I can't really stay still, even you probably see when I'm talking to you. I'm like, I'm bad for energy drinks.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah, and you should really see how hyper I get when I drink one. Like, but I'm just bad, and I know it's bad, and I know it's going to trigger it, but what can you do, right?
It's just what it is. But
I'm an
yeah, and then
adult.
you
I know
learn.
right from wrong.
Yeah. And you learn what works for you. You're going to be, I don't know, I get fidgety and moving when I get excited, like it's just what's going to work for you, and educating your children, yourself on what's going to go best. And if you are a parent working with the children, I recommend trying these things you're recommending to them, model the behavior you want. All right, we're going to cut out soda, or we're going to cut out Gatorade. I know a lot of kids drink Gatorade and they're not even being active.
I know
Or
that's
things like
scary.
that. Yeah, because there's all the sugars and stuff in it. If they're going to give something up or you're going to try a new diet, like you better be doing it too, and go through it together and talk to them. Ooh, I'm having a hard day today. Mom's been trying not to eat, I don't know, the cookies or whatever. I'm trying not to eat as many cookies. How's it going with you not drinking as many of like the high C or the Gatorade juices? Well, it was hard. I wanted it so bad today. Like you need to have those conversations with them instead of just hide it. No, you're fine. Keep going. No, you're fine. No, because are you fine? No, you probably sneak cookies when they weren't looking.
Yeah, right. I
Like
know.
go through it together. Feel the emotions.
Mhm.
Emotions are fine to feel. It's okay to have.
They are.
Yeah.
And like I said, especially having ADHD, like communication is key. Like
Okay.
they're kids, you're the parent. You gotta open that. Well, how you feeling today?
Yeah.
How did you find, how was focusing in school today? Like, what do you need to work on? Or let's work together on it instead of here, go do your homework.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, they obviously never finished their work in like 3 or 4 hours of school. How are they going to come home and finish? You know what I mean? Especially when there's more distractions.
Yeah. And that feeling too, I find that's one of the things I get also a lot with homework. They don't want to do their homework. Well, they just like really put that into perspective. They just came from somewhere, they're having moments of fun and whatnot with friends and stuff, but they're probably struggling in almost every class.
Mhm.
And then they're finally getting home. Home is their safe space, their comfort space. And maybe they get some time depending on your routines, like, all right, let's do the homework. It's like, are you kidding? Like, I just got to my safe space. And now what we're learning right now in English, I don't understand the book. I don't get it. The words are so tiny on the page. I have to do that. Like, they're certainly not going to want to do it. And to really just put that in perspective, like when you come home from a really stressful day, or hectic day at work, right? When you come home, do you want to jump back into that? If someone told you, oh, by the way, you have to go repeat 2 hours of the worst part of your day right now again, like right now, because I'm mom
Well,
and I said to do it right now.
exactly. And,
No.
every career is different too. So not everyone, the career they choose, they know, okay, well, I have to take my work home with me.
Yeah.
So if mom or dad is working at a grocery store, they don't take their work home with them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you have this kid, and especially all kids in general, now they got to take their schoolwork home with them.
Mm-hmm.
So how can the parent? Well, you got to do it. You just get out of school,
Yeah.
but you finished, and you don't got to take your work home with you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into play, and really like just, detoxing, number one, from if you're trying to eat better or just engage more. And just kind of engage with the people around you. Like I said, your partner, your loved ones, family, close friends. Like, I'm trying to be better at this and be open. There's no shame in that. And it might not feel so great in those moments talking about it. Those are uncomfortable feelings. You feel better after, especially when you have like an ADHD or struggling with, you have autism or even dyslexia, right? Kind of opening up about those things feel uncomfortable, and you spend a lot of your day uncomfortable. So you're kind of chasing that, and you don't really know how to find it either. So it is uncomfortable. So, give yourself grace and engage in those moments, and guide your children and your friends through them. Share something back. Share one part about your day. Everyone wants to be perfect. We don't share anything negative about ourselves.
No,
No,
it's
no
right.
one does. Everyone
That
wants
photo
it
you see
picture
on
perfect.
Instagram is that photo you
Yeah.
see on Instagram, just because they're smiling 5 minutes before that photo, they were,
Yeah.
they're fighting with themselves, right?
Yes. Everyone wants that picture perfect perception. And that's not really true. We're humans. We weren't made perfect. So who cares? Just be you.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Just be you. Be real. Just be you.
Yeah.
So what are some advice that you would give parents that are overwhelmed with their child having ADHD?
First, just take a breath and know it's nothing you did. It's nothing you're doing. And to start small, usually I'll recommend just kind of bring awareness. Do you have awareness of what their problems are? And do they have awareness of what their problems are? And I like to really start with kind of like that emotional cup, like what kind of fills your cup up each day and what really empties it or starts to empty it. And kind of look at it there, because then you're going to see, oh, wow, they go through a lot of their day with things that aren't really filling their cup up. And look at your day, like do it yourself. I always have to tell parents, you need to do this yourself too. What fills up your cup throughout your day, and what kind of lowers that level of coping chemistry you have? And then really just to find right professionals. If you want guidance, go get it. There's plenty of people out there. I do this, right? I coach parents, children, adults, going through this. There's tons of people out there that do this. Find the right ones, find the ones who truly care and have the education I would recommend, and get the support. It's okay to need the support, right? When you want to fix your physique, you get a trainer at the gym in a heartbeat. You don't second guess that. Oh, parenting advice?
For
Oh,
sure.
therapy? Ooh, I don't know about that. Like, no, just go get the help that you need. It's there for a reason. These professions wouldn't exist. These discussions would go get the help, and don't be ashamed that your child is
And
struggling.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a shame or embarrassment, and then it's like, well, I don't want them talking to my child to mess up their head, but they're not there to mess up your child's head. They're
Yeah.
there to see what's going on inside your child's head.
Yeah. Because it really does, like, yeah, your child might be experiencing this, but it affects your whole family dynamic because it creates
Mhm.
stress, right? And that's the point. We don't
Absolutely.
want stress. We want to eliminate the stress and increase the happiness. Yeah, so that would be like the number one, like, don't feel ashamed and don't feel guilty that you're doing something wrong. If you read something that said, don't talk to your ADHD kid like this, talk to them like this, and you're like, ooh, I did the one they said don't. Relax.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's
is
just take a
human.
deep,
Yeah.
take a deep breath. Like, back to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really say you'll figure it out, but you'll know what works for your child,
Yeah, you're
right?
gonna find out what works for you and take it slow. Pick one thing. What would maybe be the one thing in your home life that you'd like to improve upon? And then
Mhm.
maybe think of one day in the school day that you want to improve upon. Start small.
Yeah, don't jump right
Yeah.
into the fire. Doctors are still trying to figure out
Yeah.
ADHD, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
find out what works best for your child, because
Yeah.
you
And
know
and
them
work
better than anybody, right?
yeah, and work together. Work
Mhm.
together. Work with them. Sometimes they're a little too young, but you can still work with them.
With them, yeah, there's different ways you can do the approach. It's all in how you do the approach with them. I
Yeah.
find anyway.
Yeah, because your idea of what you think might work for them, they might not like that idea. So
Mhm.
that's going to get you nowhere. It's only going to keep increasing the stress. And
Yep.
you think it's changing, but it's not, because you just never asked.
No,
So,
because you think it's working because you're the parent and
yeah,
you read an article, right?
absolutely. Yeah. And I go through all this too. I have a program I just started offering, a 90-day transformation program for parents and children struggling in school. You can have a diagnosis of ADHD, dyslexia, or autism, or you could just be struggling. And I support the parents and the children through this together. And then once you have the tools of how to kind of attack that first goal, right? That first goal you set, it's the same strategy. Then you add on the second goal, then you add on the third, and then you're set. You have your plan.
No, and how can people reach out to you? Like, do you do appointments in person? Do you do stuff over Zoom?
Yeah, so I do stuff virtually over Zoom. I am local to Florida, but I do most of my work over for Zoom and virtually. They can check me on my website, www.sensationalstudents.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, JoAnna Poyssick, and I'm just starting to get the social medias going because I want parents to know about me. It's not my cup of tea. I prefer to be out and more active, but I want to get enough stuff out there. So go ahead and like and follow sensational.students on Instagram and Sensational Students on Facebook. Because I'm going to start posting a lot more, start helping people. I want to
What
spread
about the
the word.
YouTube?
Yeah. I want to
The
spread the
YouTube?
word, bring awareness.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
YouTube's another big one I find. Well, I don't know if
Yeah.
you can use TikTok yet or not, but that was good.
Yeah. And just let people know that there are people out there that want to help and bring awareness to the issue.
Mhm.
I don't want kids being depressed, sad, anxious because
Missing
it
out
turned
or
into a
being bullied on over.
sad and stressed family unit as well.
Mhm.
And that's no one has a family to be sad and stressed about it.
So how has it affected you working with kids with disabilities? Like 15 years is a long time to
Yeah.
be working with kids. How has it affected you?
I really just love it. I learn every day. I find myself taking my my program Skyrocket Success, the 90-day program. I have to go back and do it myself. I go back and reset um as I'm learning to grow. Even getting on those social medias, I have to be like, all right, take a breath. You know how to do this. You look it up, take your time. Um, but it really, I'm just always learning. I'm always learning. I love just when families and children and parents, they have those happy moments and the connections that work. And they're so simple. Like they actually tried, sitting down and I made my week schedule. And then I saw that like, wow, I really didn't have time to do homework with my kids. So I was always rushing.
Mhm.
And you really that just makes me happy. It really fills my heart. And I truly feel that like kids growing up shouldn't be depressed or sad or
Or
feel like,
even left out.
yeah, left out, feel like they can't be successful because then they take on that role and it only
Mhm.
manifests into negative things as they get older.
I've seen it happen over the
Yeah.
years. Like, kids I went to school with, they had it and never get invited to birthday parties because the hyperness or whatever,
Yeah.
and it didn't end well for them,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, it
So
can be
where do
hard.
you,
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was going to say, where do you want to take this at in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see your business go?
Yeah, well, like I said, I named my program Skyrocket Success because that is where I'm hoping this business is going, straight to the moon. I really just want parents, educators, older kids, teens to know that there's help out there. There's nothing wrong with you. You will be successful. You can be successful. This is your life. You are in control of it. And kind of like to not let anything put you down. Growth mindset, take it on as a challenge. And it's not always going to be easy, but once you find what works for you, that's the hardest part, finding what works for you. And once you find that, you're
The
going.
switch just turns on.
Yeah, like
It
once
all
you
it
go
all
there.
clicks and makes sense.
Yeah, and the quicker you can learn that and you believe in yourself, the better your life is going to be and the more enjoyable it's going to be. So I'm hoping to help people, families, children, adults, everywhere, worldwide, whoever needs the help, I'm here.
So is there any age for like people to reach out to you? Like, is it only for kids right now, or could adults
No,
reach
any
out to you?
age. No, any age right now. My program is good at any age. If you're a parent with a children that's struggling, great. Call me up. If you're in college and I'm speaking to you and you're resonating with what I'm saying, call me up. Any age. It's never too late to change and it's never too late to learn.
Okay. Well, it's been awesome speaking with you. I've learned a bit as well myself. We'll definitely have to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Take
Thank
care.
you so much. You too.